Good morning. Bonjour. Buenos dias. O genki desu ka? Ni hao ma. Namaste. Namaskaram. This morning, I would like to discuss the various stages of awakening. I'd like to discuss the end of shadow, the end of darkness, the end of a personal apocalypse. I would like to talk about an ancient philosopher and his allegory of the cave, and where a group of people, it's described a group of people have lived their entire lives, lived chained to a wall of the cave all their lives, and they just face this blank wall. And the people that are in this cave watch shadows projected on the wall from objects passing in front of a fire behind them. And they give names to these shadows. The shadows are the prisoner's reality, but are not accurate representations of the real world. The shadows represent the fragment of reality that we can normally perceive through our senses, while the objects under the sun represent the true forms of objects that we can only perceive through reason. Natural science, mathematics, geometry, deductive logic, scientific illuminism, if you will, past disciplines that allow us to disentangle our perceptions and sort of figure out which is shadow and which is real. So along with that allegory of the cave, was it Socrates, Bill and Ted's Wild Adventure? Anyway, there are stages of awakening. And basically, if you consider your soul walk, who you are, where you're headed to, what your direction is, your spiritual path, if you will. And then you need to consider the steps that you're going to take to get you going in the right direction. But you also have to remember that each person has their own pace. We all might aspire to certain things, but it's important not to become upset or dismayed because you might not feel that you're further along than you want to be, but the important thing is that you do have a mission, a sense of mission, that you're headed somewhere on a spiritual path. Just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean that you will not be there later. Time is relative, and time is really a lie, as we discussed in the Decoding the Hive Mind series. But as long as you realize that there's something fundamental missing in your life, and that this life in the cave and the shadows, you realize that the shadows that are being projected on the wall of the 3D matrix, the digital matrix, is not the true reality. As long as you realize that, then that's the first step that you can begin to fill the void that torments you. Even if you do not know what that means or how to improve things, realizing that you're missing something is the beginning of an amazing journey. I'm here to tell you, folks. Questioning at this stage, you will begin to question everything and everyone. Are you living the life that you want to live? Be honest with yourself. Look around. Do you wake up with apprehension, anxiety? Is there something that's draining you, robbing you of the life that you really feel that you should be living, that you're not, for whatever reason, for whatever it is? Someone forced something on you, some kind of lifestyle. Consider the people in your life. Are they really your friends? Are you really having fun with them? I mean, what is a functional relationship? You need to consider that. What should a functional relationship actually look like? Why are you actually doing the things that you do? Are you doing it out of some kind of sense of compulsion or duty that do you really want to do these activities that you're engaged in? Are the people around you telling you the truth? Does it make sense to watch TV and read a newspaper and know that there's an agenda there? in the news that it's a lot of fear mongering and stuff, you know, and kind of brainwashing folks. I mean, why do you believe the things that you do? Begin to question that. Is there evidence, or is it just because you're going along with what's been said and you're not brave enough to question and to start out on your own path? You're afraid of what your friends might think, or even losing these so-called friends. But as you begin to make these kinds of examinations in your life and begin to question, begin to take sovereignty, ownership of who you are and what you're engaged in, you'll gradually find that you need to make changes. And you'll throw away what does not work for you. And then you'll begin to attract what you really want. But none of that is possible until you first question your whole life and think deeply about yourself. The average person, most of the population will never get to this because they will simply live as a society outlines them to, tells them to. They'll just do it without question, not even questioning the validity of that. I mean, but you have to question, you have to begin to look at your world and ask fundamental questions and be prepared to change your beliefs. I mean, a lot of things that humans do are just basically out of habit and unconsciously a system of thought, belief, these things. Do you smoke cigarettes? I mean, think about this, these expensive habits that are just the most, unhealthy activities and habits. I mean, once you begin to do this stuff and you begin to really fundamentally and bravely and courageously examine your life, you'll stop smoking, things like that. You'll leave the church. You'll leave the church that's nothing but a control mechanism, and you'll begin to take ownership of your own spirituality. You'll get rid of your bad friends, these quote unquote friends that are nothing but just, you'll find they're just enablers, or they're just, there to bolster or reaffirm this false digital paradigm matrix. You guys are all just leaning on each other, but you'll begin to start reading, start examining things, educating yourself, self-education. You'll change your unhealthy lifestyle. You'll probably even change your job. Fundamental change is important to get through this time. I mean, you have to realize that we're all kind of asleep, in certain areas we're still asleep, but the sleeper, like Paul Muad'Dib says, the sleeper must awaken. And, get out of your comfort zone. Just realize, because if you are not in a part of your life, or if you're not where you're at on your journey, and there's reasons for it, and then you have to begin to examine those reasons. I mean, you have to look at the people around you. If they're not going to keep up with you and move with you, these people will gradually leave your life on their own, because you will have nothing to say, or you will start to have a lot of conflicts and frictions, growth. You now realize that no matter how much you change your old beliefs, more change will always be needed. You're not perfect. I am not perfect. We don't all know the answers, but to all the questions, but you try to at least get as close as possible to those answers. In the ideal constitution, you can start experimenting with diet, what you allow to come into your genetic vehicle, your food. Maybe you'll move out away from a conflicted area. Maybe you'll go off into the countryside. You'll start living in greater harmony with nature, start working with your traumas, forgive people. You enjoy life more on your own. You understand that real success is not as high as possible, ideally, or on other people's backs, but a state of peace. What success actually is, not having all the bling bling, but maybe just sovereignty over your inner peace, belonging, and inner well-being. Your attempts to grow will not always lead to success, but it's part of the way you gain experience, even from failure, and it helps you to be a better person, finding the purpose of life. You're beginning to understand why you are here and what you should do here. You learn to be more connected to your source. Talk to God, talk to your father, talk to your mother of source, God's source. Get to know yourself more deeply. And although each person's mission is different. It operates in one basic framework, helping others. All awakenings, these stages of awakening, once you get one stage of awakening accomplished, share it, because it strengthens your awakening and it starts changing the world around you. All awakenings agree on that. Every awakening stage agrees on that. But everybody has their own, form of awakening. You might find your action in the world by setting up an animal shelter or doing some kind of educational videos or growing organic vegetables or writing books or becoming a forest ranger or, helping rescue squirrels. But basically it's just something doing that connects you to the world to make you feel that you're part of improving the world, bringing quality and good to overall society. I mean, just inwardly, your life's work has to be connected to something you find of value that benefits society. It can take any form though, right? I mean, that's the main thing, is owning your own sovereignty and not stop comparing yourself and stop disempowering yourself by looking what others doing. You know what is right for you. Your connection to source will tell you. But I mean, it doesn't matter what exactly the awakened person does. The main thing is to act ethically, to treat other people well, politely, to wish them good. The meaning is a healthy society, an effort to get rid of evil and hatred, toxicity, the need to destroy other people or exploit their weaknesses. I mean, he who does evil wishes evil to other people, works to destroy another person, or has a bad intention in general, is not awakened. That is not even at the beginning of the journey. In fact, it's just a system agent. I want you to think about that. System agents. Look at the people in your life, non-player characters. They're organic portals for reptilian energies of just to further, they're just basically, binary code in the whole digital matrix. I mean, so anyone who if somebody's in your life trying to destroy it, I mean, some of these people will even tell you that they destroy lives and they want to destroy lives. And if it's through some kind of bad habit or something, you have to confront that. You have to recognize that as a bad intention. That's not somebody who's awakened. They're not even at the beginning of the journey. Like I said, they're just a system agent. So removing the old, now that your life has shifted quality and finally looks the way you want it to, you need to remove all the dysfunctional connections from the old life that are no longer beneficial. You will only allow those people who help you to improve yourself and your life. You want to be with people who want to see you grow and accept you for who you are and what you really are and what you want to be. You no longer see the point of having to go somewhere for dinner and be humiliated and buzz there for not finishing high school or leaving a well-paid job in some rural solitude and growing bees instead. You see no reason why anyone should come and target or watch as the unwinked ones pull each other out with their wives, vacation cars, cottages, earnings, and numbers of children. You do not understand why you should spend every Sunday talking about weather and politics. Somehow you just do not care, and you understand that you're just wasting time. The same goes for old bad habits and hobbies. What does not serve or bring joy must go away. Emotional phases throughout this process, you will experience intense emotions, but what comes after you kick out all the bad people, contacts, and activities out of your life is probably the strongest. You will doubt whether you are on the right track, whether you have done well, and you may be going through a phase of arguing with old contacts. You will have to listen to the fact that you have changed. That the more sensible, you run your life, you just have to understand that, these aren't crazy conspiracy theories that you realize the truth. I mean, your departure from all the lies from the digital matrix is going to offend a lot of people. They're going to start slandering you, hating you. You may feel lonely for a while, may suffer, but eventually that will pass. Those are old mind programs, fear programs from the digital matrix. They try to drag you back into the old system, into that old third dimensional paradigm so that you fall asleep again, stop acting autonomously and consciously. But you are too far away to go back. Once you have learned that you have lived in an illusion, you will never return to it voluntarily. Trust me. Once you realize that the illusion, it's been an illusion, you'll wake up from it. You will empower yourself. And that's really what it's all about. I mean, waking up with your sanity, peace of mind, and your own sovereignty. And that's the first stage, first level of a sorcerer's apprentice. Namaste, namaskaram.